Hi everybody, Fuzzy Dan here from Shaken.Noob. I'm here today with a game called Dreamscaper. Now, we've been given access to the Prologue edition, which is essentially like the first level of the game. And yeah, I'm going to play a bit of this. I've been playing it for a couple of days now. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to go through and read the description for this one because it's pretty cool. A surreal roguelite inspired action RPG with modernised hack and slash combat about lucid dreaming. So basically you play as this character, her name's Cassidy, and every night you sleep and in your dreams you come up against all these various creatures and characters. Explore this world and basically face these sort of dream demons, I suppose. You get access to a bunch of different weapons, which you level up through finding things through the world. You meet and greet all sorts of people in the real world, and through meeting that and forming relationships with them, you get access to different weapons and different things in your dream state. And it's pretty cool. And it's very much, I've really enjoyed the design of this, because each time you go back into the game, the reason I've been playing it so much is because each time you go back in, it changes. It's very, you're faced with all new just layouts and things going on, and it's a lot of fun. You get some really good access to cool weapons, like the finger gun is one of my favourites. It just has a really cool effect, just like the idea of a finger gun as well. But yeah, there's these cool like dream weapons and access to things. Get the ability to do what I didn't do here for the first time, was to recycle the equipment so that you can buy some cooler gear at one of the market shops that they have around these levels. Yeah, it seems like a lot of fun. You've got a whole bunch of stuff that you're managing here. So you're managing sand, which is like your currency within the game. You're managing keys, which give you access to different spaces within the game. Bombs, which blow up certain environmental little puzzles that can give you different power-ups, and then also your ammunition for, say, your finger guns or your bow and arrow. So here you can see these little sort of steps or little rocks that are formations, and those are the things you blow up with bombs, and they give you all those power-ups. So it's I wouldn't say it's overly I think that it's not overly complicated. It's very simplistic in its design, and that's what makes it so cool. It's just so effective. There's just this sort of pastel-y wood grain texture to everything, which is really awesome. I really like the art design for this. It's just super pretty. It's one of those games that you look at and go, yeah, I'm instantly comfortable with what they're doing. It's really fun. Now, they do recommend playing this with the gamepad. I haven't had my gamepad hooked up to my PC. I've only just updated my PC, so I haven't had it hooked up yet. So I was playing on keyboard and mouse, so it's a little bit fidgety working that out, but I think this would be a really good game for a controller if you've hooked everything through there. It's, again, as I said, I've played this for a couple of days, just been going backwards and forwards, so this was all taken as one single playthrough, this level, but trust me, the first two or three times that I was trying to figure things out, I was no good at all. Like, just understanding the combat patterns of some of the characters that you're facing, they, again, very straightforward, but there's beauty in that simplicity of design, which is really cool. Now, so these ones here, these puzzles here, you have to blow up the actual rocks around it, and then you unlock it with your keys. Again, using resources. These things here are cool as well. These are like little power-ups that give you special abilities. Now, every time you die, it basically resets to 0, but you can carry on those abilities over to the next dream state, so you can go to sleep and then come back with those same powers, which is pretty awesome. The minimap's cool. It's really all of it's really functional. Like, the design's really functional. It's really easy to use. It's very intuitive. So when you're playing it, you just understand immediately where things are. There's not a lot of you will play a couple of times through, and you'll die a bit and misunderstand how things operate. and it's, you know, it really takes some time to actually get to understand what's happening here. So I'm very excited to see how they level this up in future stages. So what the bosses are like in this playthrough, you'll see what the first level boss is like for the prologue. And it's, you know, if that's what we're seeing in the first level, I'm really excited about seeing what happens in later levels. Again, it's, yeah, I had a fairly easy run through with these, I'm going to say. Sometimes I've gotten into levels and there's these guys that like shoot at you like arrows. They were just impossible to get past. But yeah, they, again, simple. Not so much a rinse and repeat for these things, but it's very much a, you understand, I need to do this to get to this point to upgrade it. So here's the shop. So you go through, you can see sand. We've got 715 sand, so we can buy any of these things, but do you really want to? Having played through this, I understand, like, I know what I want to get. I haven't had this weapon before. This is really cool. This is called, I think it's called the Masher. But there's been some really cool, there's very cool unique weapons, and the combinations that you have in there in the air, like there's elemental effects that you can have on them, so they can do like fire damage or poison damage. I didn't know this thing could happen. I can apparently bash like ice rocks with it. Although I think I try and bash on like regular rocks and they just don't break, and I just went straight past them. These things are cool. Now this is what I want to see more of. So this is a puzzle room, and again, you're kind of just thrown into these things. You're not really told what to do. You're just told, you know, just given something, and so you have to figure these things out for yourself. And I really like that. Like, it's not so much hand holding. It's very much like, we're just going to show this to you, and you will figure it out or you won't, based on your own intelligence. So it just, yeah, I took a little bit longer with this one than I probably should have, but they're really cool. I like them. Just a nice, simple, straightforward puzzle. Again, I'd like to see how this gets ramped up in future, in later levels. Whether or not this becomes like there's a timed challenge it locks out after a certain point. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what those later stages look like in these games. Yeah, so you play, again, we've talked about the main character. Her name's Cassidy. So she is, yeah, you play as her regardless. She meets and greets a whole bunch of different people in the world. It's some of the power-ups they give you are really awesome. Like, they give you different types of weapons or attacks. It's a lot of fun. I think it will be cool again to see how she develops as a character later on. So there we go. I've solved it. I've solved the puzzle finally. I know that would be very frustrating for some people. So I picked up a pashmina, apparently. Very stylish. This is cool. So you have all these, like, so once you play back through these things for the second time, so you beat the boss, you come back through and you play it again, some of these characters and enemies that you face will be severely leveled up, so you get different types of turrets attacking you, and yeah, it will be a lot more challenging than it appears here. Again, I played this for a bit, so I had a fairly good run this time out. Now this is the fun part. This is the end level boss, and I tell you what, the first time I came up against him, I was done in like 2 seconds. And there's a couple of his attacks I still haven't learned his attack pattern. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, he's just really fun. Like, there's some stuff that you go, like, the first few times he attacks you, like, how on earth am I supposed to do it? How on earth am I supposed to react to it? And yeah, I suppose this talks to a, like, sort of different emotional state of the characters. There's this deep story behind what's happening. Very much about deep dark. So there's a lot of really cool emotional stuff that this plays on. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out like later levels, like what kind of emotional states she's oh yeah, the first time I did that on this run through an actual dodge. Yes, you can. Yeah, so it's just this array of attacks. Dodge, shield, which you can parry attacks as well. better shields, better equipment will allow you, better options to carry. So there's some definite cool upgrades and things that you can do. Especially, as I said, especially past set to another dream state. It's kind of like almost Inception that every time you're waking up. This is going really well. He doesn't do this attack that I can't on this run that I can't beat, which is down to less than half health here. Similar attacks with mace. There is probably about 2 or 3 others that this one through, which are really different. So it's all mixed up into various very random. Pattern, you play that through and default back to the swing around. I will say, play this with your headphones on. It's beautiful. It's very atmospheric and it's and what's happening, very contextual. It's cool. And that is it. That is the prologue, guys. Look, I'm very excited about this game. It looks a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be playing some more of it. I'm definitely keen to see what happens at that next stage. They do ask that everybody puts this on your wish list. If you're interested, go now onto your Steam account and just click on this under your wish list. That makes a big deal for them. It makes a big deal for the developers because they can actually gauge how this is going to be received and get this out there as quickly as possible. So look, definitely play this. I would highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. If you're into roguelite games, if you're into something that's a little bit different art style, then Dreamscaper may be the one. This has been Fuzzy Dan. I'm reminding you to check out Shaken Not Noob on all of our channels. We are at Shaken Not Nerd as the podcast. Come and check us out. We're out every week. We're talking about new games. We're talking about movies. We're talking about all sorts of stuff. We will be talking about Dreamscaper in this week's episode of Shaken Not Noob. So check us out now on all of the things.